Hey, this is Chad from Bearing Witness College of Mission Essay Coaching. Welcome to our series on writing mission-worthy personal statements. For the past 8 years, I've had the pleasure of teaching writing and performance workshops at over 70 college universities, where one of the first things I learned was that somewhere around 7th grade, schools tend to shift from the emphasis on descriptive and narrative writing to more expository and persuasive writing. Since the majority of missions essays favor narrative and descriptive writing, when it comes to writing your personal statement, even advanced high school writers can find this process difficult. For more detailed analysis of the materials covered in these videos, including tips, tools, exercises, writing prompts, and examples, check out bearingwitnessadmissions.com, where you'll also find information on our one-on-one services, which range from essay review to comprehensive start-to-finish coaching, all of which are deeply discounted throughout the month of September. I'll also be updating this channel weekly, so make sure to like, subscribe, and share. If you haven't checked out our introductory video, make sure to do that to find out more about who we are and what we offer. Let's get writing. So today I want to talk about characterization, but before that, when I was crafting these lessons, my idea was to be more conversational, me talking, I guess not talking to me, but more conversational in nature. Characterization, I'm actually going to be focusing more on what I wrote down on the lesson plan. I actually teach this course for a whole semester, and so in order for you to get what you need to get, it's just easier for me to focus more here than on eye contact, okay? Sorry about that. So characterization is the way in which an author conveys information about their character's appearance, behaviors, actions, interests, ways of speaking, and of mannerism. In personal narrative, you are both the storyteller and the main character. Remember that your readers know nothing about you until you tell them. So you gotta be vigilant when it comes to thinking about presenting all the real people, including yourself, as authentic, believable, and engaging characters. You can't skip on the details. For instance, you can't expect the admissions officer to find somebody interesting, lovable, or horrible just because you do. Unfortunately, the more we know somebody, the more details we tend to take for granted when telling other people about that person. So much so that after watching a few of these videos, when it comes to appearance, mannerisms, way of speaking, you would have an easier time describing me to your parents than them to me. Now, there are two main types of characters, the round and flat. Round characters are your main characters. These are the ones, if they weren't there, you'd be telling a different story. These are the people the admissions officers need to find authentic, believable, and engaging. Whereas flat characters are uncomplicated and don't change throughout the story. So therefore, they should be reserved for revealing facts of a character's personality without distracting from the action of a scene. In my first place, Sitting in Circles with Rich White Girls, Memoirs of a Bulimic Black Boy, the only thing you need to know about my dad was that he's white and from Montana. So I told you. Ever wonder how two white folks from Montana get a black kid from Cleveland? This is what we call direct characterization. Here, one character reveals the traits of another character in a straightforward manner. We also call this telling. Round characters are best revealed through indirect characterization. This is where one character reveals the traits of another character through appearance, behavior, action, interest, ways of speaking, and other mannerisms. Now, of course, most of the characters are going to be round because they made the cut, This is your essay, there's 400, 500, 600 words max. You don't have a lot of, background character. One thing I often have to tell when I'm working with people is that the admissions essay is not a time for a family reunion. Okay, don't bring everybody in. They're okay that they didn't make it. Pick the people who are focused on you, basically. That in order to tell your story, you need them. Remember, it's all about you. It's not about them. Everybody's a supporting cast to you, okay? So when it comes to your essay, you should focus on action, dialogue, appearance, and crisis. So this is how we reveal characters. Let me say that again. Through action, dialogue, appearance, and crisis. Now the most impactful way, and the least forgettable, is action. That's because action often involves the others. Okay? Unlike a memoir, a play, or a long narrative, when it comes to character development, time is not in your side. Okay? Your characters have to right out the gate. Okay? And so I find the three most impactful ways to show action are physical movement, facial expression and body language, and then deeds. And of course, once again, action is, okay? So, when you have action sequences, they're best vivid, details, and they're often exaggerated. See, this is what we talk about, and there's a video called The Flair of Fiction. I don't mean make things up. We're not making things up, but you get to exaggerate. You make people bigger than life, okay? Remember, this is not about you giving an eyewitness statement to the police. What you're doing is you're painting a vivid image so that the admissions officers can see what you are seeing. In the case of physical movement, I might say, 3, 2, 1, Russell. It's clear from the beginning he is stronger and knows more moves than me. As we flail around in a large blue mat which reeks of bleach and sweat, I can feel both my body and breath growing tired. I want this match to be over. I want 6th grade to be over. In the case of facial expressions, I might say, there's never been a time when I have not rolled my eyes. You know the Eskimos have 50 words for snow? Well, I have 50 eye rolls. If they gave out Academy Awards for eye rolling, I'd be the Meryl Streep, Jack Nicholson, and Titanic all rolled into one. In the case of deeds, I might say, my Aunt Martha is a good Christian woman until she gets behind the wheel of a car. She once followed a guy into a 7-Eleven parking lot while laying on her horn and flipping him the bird. His sin? He forgot to wave after she let him cut in. So in addition to action, the way a character speaks says a lot about his or her personality, their education, and emotion. When writing your personal statements, you don't have the luxury of being in your characters' minds. So the words that come out of their mouths form the logical connection between the internal and the external. Now, the reader also needs to be able to see your character. Facial features, body type, style, clothing can make statements about the person's value as well as way of life. If your piece involves you at different periods in your life, like you now and a younger you, it's important that they see, both parts, your younger you as well. In my play, there's a scene where I have to describe my 15-year-old self. And of course, I'm on stage as a mid-30 person then. So it's important that they see, 15-year-old Chad. And so I often describe myself through fashion, because that's what I like. Can't tell now, but so I often use clothing to describe myself. So here's how I describe my 15-year-old self. I'm getting ready to meet somebody. I told him I'd be standing by the pipe organ wearing peach. In hindsight, that may have been an understatement. My outfits consisted of peach linen pants, a long-sleeve peach paisley shirt, and a peach cashmere cardigan sweater, all accented by a bottle green chenille scarf. Okay, so the last way I want to talk about really revealing characters is through crisis. How does a person respond to a crisis? What is a person's behavior right before a crisis, after a crisis? We actually all have different ideas of what crisis is. Recently, I was fortunate enough to get a grant, actually, to turn Sitting in Circles with Rich White Girls, Memoirs of a Billy McBlackmore, a stage play, into a written memoir. And in a scene, a pivotal scene, I'm describing my mom through crisis. Now, I'm a big fan of using everything. Action, dialogue, appearance, throw it all up in there. And so here, it's a crisis, but I've used all that to describe her. The backstory is, I'm in 5th grade, my mother has come to the school after I've been called a nigger again. I'm okay now, don't worry. Scanning the parking lot again, I let out an excited sigh. I see Mom and her unkept mop of hair barreling down the breezeway, as if she was 50 pounds lighter, wearing black elastic mail-order pants, an iridescent polyester butterfly blouse, horn-rimmed glasses, a dime store rain bonnet, and a very unnecessary windbreaker. Noticing me, she waves. She waves to say I'm here. Waves to say I'm sorry. Entering the main office with a fractured smile, she removes her horn-rimmed sunglasses, exposing a set of teary eyes, embraces me and whispers, "Beloved, this ends today." So, characters are not merely pegs to be inserted in a preconceived plot. Your characters are living, breathing people who've made your life more interesting and who will make your story more interesting. You owe it to both them and yourselves to present all people in your essay as authentically as possible. And remember, admissions departments aren't looking for perfect people. They're looking for authentic people, and authentic people are flawed people. Okay, well, so in order, if you want to gain hands-on experience with characterization, including tips, tools, exercises, writing prompts, examples, you can find that at bearingwitnessadmissions.com, along with information on our one-on-one services, which range from essay review to comprehensive start-to-finish coaching. And I will see you later. Thanks a lot. Bye.